Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back. So today's video is about Celestial Demolishers. Well, these are level 2 titans that will unlock for you once you reach Lamzar, which is also season 2 inside of the game. Right, so if you haven't reached that far, don't worry about it, but having prior information is never a bad idea. So about how they unlock, you will see that Lamzar has its own chapters. Right now we are in Moorstar, which is season 3, so I can't actually show you the chapters, but if you go into the chapters tab, just like how you can go into the memoirs over here, they're like this. So in one of them you can just see where these Celestial Demolishers are unlocking for you. After they unlock, they will show up for you in your parts workshop over here. So these are the level 1 titans and these are level 2 titans, also known as Celestial Demolishers. So how do you make Celestial Demolishers? Well, there are two main requirements. Number 1 is the AntiMatter fuel pumps, and number 2 is that you need to have 4 parts of a level 1 titan to make a level 2 titan. For example, let's say we have the Arctic Vortex. Now this one is an infantry Celestial Demolisher. So if you look at its engine, you can see that it requires 2 level 1 engines, 1 platform, and one of these control chips. So then now these can range from epic, legendary, and mythic, and just because you are mixing in 4 of these parts does not equate to automatically having a more powerful titan if you just make an epic piece here. Okay, it's not going to equate to a mythic piece of a level 1 titan. If you are going to be evolving your titan to a level 2 titan, what I recommend you do is always go for the mythic. This may take a very long time for you, but it is the only viable option and solution, because legendary has the same amount of stats you would get from a mythic level 1. Now if you make a legendary and you have a lot of research in the Celestial Demolisher, of course, yeah, then I can understand that you made a legendary and it's giving you more buff. Otherwise, you're just wasting your antimatter fuel pumps, which are already very hard to come by if you are free to play. So always go for the mythic one. Let me show you what antimatter fuel pumps are, and they are over here, right? So this resource is called the antimatter fuel pump. Just like antimatter fuel rods, these can be considered the next evolution of it. It does not mean you can synthesize this if you have a lot of these. No, these are dropped from other rare resources. For you in Lamzar, it's gonna drop from Virago looters and from Nephilim rallies. So right now these are the only sources from which they drop. You can also buy the Celestial Investment Plan, but that is more pay to win sort of stuff, so I'm gonna leave that out in this video. The next thing we need to look at is the research tree for Celestial Demolishers. Once the Celestial Demolisher unlocks for you, you will have this Celestial Demolisher research tree, of which these first 4 nodes are super important, because max refinement give you a 12% boost to material production, and the next one gives you an 18% boost. This is like a 30% boost on top of your parts production tree. If you have this all the way down to the bottom, you should be able to generate parts relatively a lot more faster. The next one is fuel recycling, which means that you will not require as much antimatter fuel rods or fuel pumps as you might originally. Now why this is important is because, like I told you, that antimatter fuel pumps are very hard to come by, and one mythic celestial part costs about 100k of those. So if you reduce the cost to like 10% from here and 15% from here, that's like a 25% reduction. So in my opinion, it's a very huge one, and you will have a lot easier time in making your celestial parts if you get the first 4 nodes. So to get these nodes, you need something called Astra Fusion Essence. Now this is another rare resource. It does not drop from any local resources. unless you have a triumphant blade. But this one, this is the Gathering Titan, so it does have the ability to drop fusion essence, but it's in its dark energy era, which unlocks a lot later in Moorstar. Typically, for players that have not reached this far into the game, Astra Fusion Essence is going to be very, very rare for you. So now Astra Fusion Essence is something that is going to drop from the honor store for you. Yes, it's like 30,000 over here and costs 1 token. So if you collect a lot of them, you can get a lot from these. You can also get it from events. You can also buy it. The only free source is when you run the Triumphant Blade and you max out his Dark Energy era. So that about covers up the info on Celestial Demolishers. Remember these tips and tricks, and it will be a lot more easier for you to get your Celestials up and running. Do not get frustrated, and please do understand that for free to play people, Celestials are going to be hard to come by. You should never rush a Celestial Demolisher unless you are going for a mythic part, because just like I mentioned, if you do go towards epic or legendary, you're dropping your stats, because Astra Fusion Essence is really hard to come by to even be able to get these 1% or 2% buff that you're looking for. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you around.